If you're here right now, reading these words, it is not by coincidence. This is not just another message you stumbled across online. This is a divine appointment, a moment that has been orchestrated from above, with your name on it. There is something sacred about what's unfolding, something too aligned to be random. Because at this very moment in your life, while things may feel uncertain, heavy, or even unbearable, God is speaking. He is calling out to you not with condemnation, but with purpose. And that purpose is clear: He is testing you. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't a punishment. This isn't the universe turning against you or God abandoning you. This is a test. A sacred, holy test designed not to destroy you but to prepare you. Right now, you may be standing in the middle of a storm, an emotional, financial, spiritual, or even physical whirlwind. You've prayed. You've waited. You've stayed hopeful, and yet the breakthrough hasn't come. And in your humanity, it's easy to ask, why? Why would God allow this? Why would He make me wait when I've already been faithful? But here's what most people miss: the greatest blessings are preceded by the greatest trials. The breakthrough you're seeking is not being denied, it's being delayed until your spirit is ready to carry the weight of it with wisdom and grace. This moment of hardship is not here to break you down, it's here to build you up. It's a moment of refinement. When gold is purified, it is placed in fire so that everything impure can rise to the surface and be burned away. The fire is not the problem, it's the process. And you, chosen one, are in that fire not because you're weak, but because God sees that you're ready to be shaped into someone greater than you've ever imagined. He is calling you to rise. But before you rise, you must be made solid. And before you are made solid, you must be tested. There is a millionaire breakthrough waiting on the other side of this trial, not just financially, but in every sense of abundance. Yes, God may be preparing to pour out prosperity in your life, but He is more concerned with who you are than what you have. He wants your foundation strong, your heart pure, and your spirit steadfast. Because true wealth, the kind that endures, must be held by someone who has been deeply rooted in faith, humility, and strength of character. Without these, prosperity becomes a burden instead of a blessing. Right now, you may feel like you're being stretched to your limit. You may feel tired of the process, confused by the silence, or even tempted to walk away from the vision you once believed in. But let me tell you this: the closer you are to your breakthrough, the more intense the pressure becomes. That's why the pressure is building. That's why everything feels like it's closing in. Because you're almost there. This isn't the end. This is the test that precedes the turning point. And I want you to know, you're not alone. Every great man and woman of faith has walked through the fire before stepping into divine favor. Think of Joseph, betrayed and imprisoned before becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt. Think of Esther, afraid and unsure, before stepping into her role as queen to save a nation. Even Jesus faced the wilderness before launching into public ministry. The test always comes before the elevation. Always. You see, God doesn't test the ones He has forgotten. He tests the ones He has chosen. He tests those who carry great assignments, great potential, great callings. The test is a compliment in disguise. It's heaven's way of saying, I've placed something valuable inside of you, and I'm preparing you to carry it with responsibility. So don't shrink back from this season. Don't wish it away. Instead, lean into it. Embrace it. Let it do the deep work it was sent to do in your life. Because this isn't just about surviving a tough moment. It's about being transformed into someone capable of sustaining the blessing that's coming. Let me say this clearly: your trial is not eternal. It has an expiration date. But the transformation God wants to complete in you through it will last forever. And when you emerge from this, you will not be the same. You will be stronger. You will be wiser. You will be more discerning, more compassionate, more anchored in who God called you to be. And you will be ready, not just to receive the blessing, but to carry it well. That is why this test matters. Now, here's where your participation comes in. You must not just passively endure this season. You must rise up in faith and respond. Not with fear, but with spiritual clarity. Not with doubt, but with conviction. This is your moment to align with the process and declare with boldness that you are ready to pass the test. And if you believe this message was meant for you, if something inside of you is stirring, awakening, affirming that this is your season to break through, then I encourage you to do something right now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment saying, "I'm ready to pass the test." Not just for algorithm's sake, but as a declaration to heaven and a signal to the spirit realm that you are aligned, awake, and aware. Because your words have power. Your actions reinforce your belief. And when you combine faith with action, you create momentum in the spiritual realm. So speak it. Write it. Declare it. Play this video on repeat, not just to support this channel, but as an act of devotion and alignment. Let the sound of this message anchor you when fear creeps in. Let it remind you that the fire you're in is not to destroy you but to define you. And if you've been praying for clarity, if you've asked God for a sign, a confirmation, a word that would help you keep going, then consider this your confirmation. You were meant to see this today. Not yesterday. Not next week. Today. Because this is your divine moment. And your response right now is shaping what comes next. You are not being tested because you did something wrong. You are being tested because you are right on schedule. You are in alignment. And this pressure? It's proof that your purpose is near. God doesn't test empty vessels. He tests vessels He intends to fill. So, lift your head. Breathe deeply. And walk forward with renewed courage. You've come too far to turn back now. This season is not here to break you, it's here to birth you. And what is being birthed in this season is the version of you that can carry wealth, wisdom, influence, and purpose with grace and strength. From this moment on, stop seeing your pain as punishment. Start seeing it as preparation. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start declaring, "Prepare me." Because you are not the victim of your circumstances, you are the chosen one rising through them. And on the other side of this fire is a life so full of favor that it will make sense of every tear you've cried. So hold on. Anchor your faith. Declare your readiness. And let this message be your turning point. And now, as we prepare to go deeper into this journey, let us open the next chapter together. There are moments in life when the storms you face feel too intentional to be random. You begin to wonder, why is this happening to me? Why does it seem like my path is harder than everyone else's? But what if I told you that your current trial is not a mistake, not a punishment, not a detour, it's a divine design? You, chosen one, are not experiencing just another tough season. You are being tested with precision, because you carry something powerful. Something sacred. And what you're going through right now has been crafted specifically for you by the hand of God. The hardships you face are not common. They are not ordinary setbacks. These are divine trials, assignments from heaven tailored to fit the exact shape of your calling. They have been allowed into your life not to destroy you, but to develop you. Not to break you, but to build you. And the reason they feel so weighty, so relentless, is because the purpose within you is weighty and relentless. You have been chosen for something great. And before greatness is revealed, refinement must come first. God never tests without reason. He does not waste fire. Every challenge, every detour, every disappointment you've encountered has been a part of a divine curriculum, what I call heaven's training protocol. Think about that. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Not just for any blessing, but for a breakthrough of millionaire proportions. And if you're in this refining fire now, it means you are close. So close. But close doesn't mean ready. And that's why the testing continues. Because heaven doesn't release blessing until character is strong enough to carry it. Just like gold must pass through the fire to be purified, your spirit is passing through trials to remove what is no longer needed: fear, insecurity, bitterness, pride. The fire is real, but so is the transformation. And you are being transformed, not into a version of who you used to be, but into the version of yourself God intended from the beginning. Imagine a diamond buried deep in the earth. It doesn't become brilliant through comfort. It becomes brilliant through pressure, tremendous, relentless, unyielding pressure. And yet, that pressure is exactly what makes it valuable. That pressure, applied to a common piece of carbon, unlocks something priceless. That's what's happening to you. You are the diamond in the rough. And every ounce of pressure you're under is drawing out brilliance that's been hidden within you all along. Or consider the roots of a mighty tree. Before it ever reaches toward the sky, its roots must sink deep into the soil. No one sees the roots growing. No one applauds the process. But without that hidden work beneath the surface, the tree would topple at the first strong wind. The same is true for you. This season of pain, of obscurity, of feeling unseen or forgotten, it is the rooting season. You are being anchored so deeply in faith, in character, in spiritual discipline, that when your breakthrough blossoms, nothing will be able to shake it. The truth is, your current suffering is not random. It's not without purpose. It's not a sign that something has gone wrong. On the contrary, it is a sign that something is about to go incredibly right. Because when God gets ready to do something extraordinary in someone's life, He first goes deep. He pulls out what doesn't belong. He strengthens what needs to endure. He builds a foundation beneath the surface that no man can see, so that when the blessing appears, it will last. That is what's happening in your life right now. Foundation is being poured. And the deeper the foundation, the higher the elevation. I know it doesn't feel like that right now. Maybe it feels like everything around you is being stripped away. Maybe it feels like you're being pushed to your limits, stretched past your comfort zone, tested in ways you never imagined. That's because you are. But not because God is cruel. Because God is committed. Committed to the version of you that you can't yet see. Committed to the mission He's placed inside you. Committed to making sure that when your millionaire breakthrough comes, you'll have the grace, the wisdom, and the power to steward it well. This trial is not your downfall. It's your proving ground. This pressure isn't a curse. It's your anointing in disguise. The heat you feel right now, it's not here to burn you. It's here to refine you. And when this refining is complete, you won't just receive breakthrough, you'll be ready for it. You'll carry it with integrity. You'll walk in it with humility. And you'll use it not just to bless yourself, but to bless others. That is why you must stop asking, when will this end, and start asking, what is this forming in me? Because every moment you choose to remain faithful in the fire, you are proving to heaven that you can be trusted. That you're not chasing blessing for blessing's sake, but that you're becoming the kind of person who can carry a blessing and still stay surrendered to God. There's a reason this trial feels personal. Because it is. God doesn't give mass-produced trials to His chosen ones. He gives tailor-made ones. Because He knows what lies ahead for you requires more than surface strength. It requires soul strength. Heart strength. The kind of fortitude that only comes from walking through fire and coming out not burned, but transformed. You may not have realized it, but this testing season is your spiritual boot camp. It's where the old you dies and the new you is born. It's where fear loses its grip and courage takes root. It's where you learn to walk not by sight, but by faith. And faith is the currency of breakthrough. Faith is the soil where miracles grow. So hold on. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Because if you're facing pressure right now, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're about to carry something powerful. The greater the pressure, the greater the purpose. And the deeper the pain, the higher the calling. You are not on the outside of God's will, you are in the center of His preparation. And preparation always precedes promotion. This test you're in is not a delay. It is divine qualification. And when it's over, you won't be the same. You'll be stronger, wiser, clearer, ready. Ready not just to receive, but to multiply. Not just to succeed, but to impact. Not just to rise, but to elevate others as you do. So lift your head, chosen one. What you feel now is not rejection, it's refinement. What you see now is not a closed door, it's a carved path. And what you're living now is not your end, it's your evidence that God has marked you for more. And as we step into the next part of this spiritual journey, we will begin to uncover exactly what needs to fall away so that the fullness of who you are can rise. You're not just being tested, you're being transformed. And transformation always precedes glory. Are you ready for that transformation to go even deeper? Then let's move forward. There is a sacred process that every chosen one must walk through, one that is not always spoken of but is essential to becoming who you were created to be. It is the process of refinement. This season of your life may feel like a storm, like everything is being stripped away, like you're being torn down from the inside out. And in many ways, that's exactly what's happening. But hear this truth clearly, you are not being destroyed, you are being refined. God is not tearing you apart to leave you empty, He is clearing space for the abundance that is about to be poured in. He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. Refinement is one of the deepest spiritual experiences a chosen one will ever encounter. It is not simply about enduring hardship or waiting for your blessing, it is about transformation. It is about removing the layers of fear, doubt, and limitation that have accumulated over time, so that the soul underneath can rise and carry the divine destiny it was always meant to hold. What you are walking through right now may feel disorienting, even painful. But it is sacred. It is necessary. And above all, it is holy. Scripture teaches us that precious metals are purified by fire. Gold does not shine in its natural state. It must pass through intense heat to have its impurities burned away. And the same is true for your spirit. The heat you are experiencing right now, the pressure, the confusion, the grief, the uncertainty, is not random. It is the furnace of God's love, burning away every old belief, every fear, every wound, every lie that no longer serves the person you are becoming. Let me say this clearly, what is being removed is not your essence. It is not who you truly are. It is what has attached itself to you that doesn't belong in your next season. The doubt that has kept you small. The fear that has kept you quiet. The shame that has hidden your light. The scarcity mindset that has made you afraid to dream big or step forward boldly. God is removing these things now, because the wealth, the influence, and the favor that are coming cannot rest upon a foundation that is unstable. He is fortifying you, from the inside out. Yes, it hurts. Yes, there are days you feel like you're unraveling. But that unraveling is making way for something divine. You are being restructured, soul first. This is not the time to run. This is the time to surrender. To trust. To breathe deeply and say, Lord, if this is the process that brings me into alignment with your will, then let it be done in me. This is not about punishment. This is about preparation. God doesn't give lasting blessings to unprepared hearts. He won't hand you the key to influence if your pride will shut the door on compassion. He won't pour wealth into hands that still tremble with self-doubt and fear of man. He won't place you on a platform if your identity still depends on applause. No, He loves you too much for that. He is shaping you to carry more than money. He is preparing you to carry weight. The weight of responsibility. The weight of integrity. The weight of legacy. And so He refines. He removes what is temporary, so that what is eternal can be strengthened. He removes what is weak, so that what is divine can stand tall. He removes the noise, so you can finally hear His voice clearly. This is why it feels like you're being stretched in every direction. Because you are. Your soul is expanding. Your capacity is increasing. Your roots are going deep, even though no one can see it yet. And that's the nature of true growth, it begins in the hidden places. Like a mighty tree that grows taller only after its roots have pushed deep into the earth, so too are you being prepared. Your future elevation is directly connected to your present surrender. Understand this, you are being molded into the person you need to be in order to fulfill your destiny. The person you were before this trial cannot sustain what's coming. That version of you, though beautiful, though faithful, was not yet ready to steward the level of breakthrough that is waiting. And so, this trial came. Not to shame you, not to defeat you, but to strip away what no longer aligns with the calling on your life. God is building within you a character that can handle abundance without arrogance. He is cultivating a heart that remains humble even when honored. He is forming a spirit that seeks His will more than wealth, His presence more than prestige. He is anchoring you in maturity so that when the blessing arrives, it doesn't crush you, but you carry it with reverence and gratitude. This refinement is also deepening your intimacy with Him. It is in the fire that you learn to pray differently, to listen more closely, to depend not on your own wisdom, but on His whisper. When everything else is stripped away, when your strength runs out, when your plans collapse, when the people you thought would stay begin to fade, it is there that you learn to cling to the one who never leaves. That is the treasure of refinement. Not just the breakthrough it produces, but the connection it forges between your heart and His. In this season, God is not only refining what you do, He is refining who you are. He is preparing you for wealth that is not just financial, but spiritual. For prosperity that overflows into your relationships, your calling, your influence, and your inner peace. And to walk in that kind of abundance, you must be someone who can carry it with honor. That's what this process is forming in you. So what should you do in the midst of this holy fire? Be still. Be honest. Be yielded. Let go of the need to control the pace of your transformation. Let go of the lies that say you're being punished. Let go of the fear that whispers you won't make it. Instead, open your hands and open your heart. Say, God, I don't understand everything, but I trust that you are making me new. Because He is. And when the process feels long, remind yourself, this is not just about my comfort, it's about my calling. This is not just about my pain, it's about my preparation. This is not just about what I'm losing, it's about what I'm about to carry. You are being refined so that nothing in your soul sabotages the wealth in your future. God is healing the places you've hidden, strengthening the parts of you that used to collapse under pressure, teaching you to rise not in pride, but in purpose. This is how kingdom wealth is carried, not by those who are merely talented, but by those who are tested and found faithful. And when the refining is done, you will rise, not as someone who stumbled into blessing, but as someone who was made ready to walk in it. Not as someone who feared the fire, but as someone who allowed the fire to awaken the gold within. You will step into abundance, not as a beginner, but as a mature, rooted, spirit-led vessel of divine prosperity. This is your preparation ground. Honor it. Yield to it. Trust the hands of the refiner. Because what is being removed was never meant to stay, and what is being revealed was planted in you from the beginning. And as we walk forward, know this, you are not being emptied for no reason. You are being made holy. You are being made whole. And the weight of what is coming requires a soul that has passed through fire and come out shining. Let the refining finish its work. Let it strip what no longer belongs. Let it strengthen what remains. Because the breakthrough ahead is not ordinary. And the person who will receive it must be anything but average. You are that person. Endurance. In the language of heaven, it is not weakness hidden beneath silence. It is not the dull acceptance of pain. It is not mere survival. Endurance, in the life of the chosen, is power. It is the unmistakable sign that you have been marked for something greater than what you're currently walking through. And while many chase the spotlight, the miracles, the breakthrough, it is in the shadows of testing that endurance is forged, and it is there that destiny is unlocked. Chosen one, if you are still standing, even if trembling, then you are already carrying more strength than you know. God never asked for your perfection. He never demanded that you conquer every mountain with ease. But He does ask one thing: do not give up. When the weight of delay crushes your expectations, when the fog of confusion hides your next step, when it feels like your prayers echo into silence, God does not abandon you. He watches for one thing: will you keep moving? You don't have to be perfect, the Spirit whispers, you just can't quit. That single truth has the power to break chains of shame and silence. Because perfection is not the gateway to abundance, perseverance is. The millionaire breakthrough that awaits you is not awarded to those who never fall, but to those who rise again, and again, and again, each time stronger in faith, softer in heart, firmer in purpose. Endurance isn't always visible. It often happens in the quiet moments when no one sees. When you rise again after crying on the bathroom floor. When you show up one more time even though the results haven't changed. When you speak life over your finances even while the numbers scream otherwise. Every one of those moments is sacred. Each one is recorded in heaven. Because every act of endurance is an act of agreement with God's plan, even when that plan is invisible. True endurance is not a product of motivation, it is a product of revelation. It is born in those who understand that their lives are not random. That every struggle has been filtered through divine wisdom. That every delay has been authorized for growth. When you grasp that, when you truly receive that truth into your spirit, you stop fighting for control and begin walking in surrender. You stop looking for the exit and begin asking, Lord, what are you forming in me here? And this is when your endurance becomes unstoppable. You become like a tree planted by streams of water, your roots anchored in faith, your leaves unshaken by drought. You may bend, but you will not break. Because you are rooted not in outcomes, but in obedience. Not in results, but in revelation. What makes this even more powerful is understanding that your endurance is not wasted. In fact, it is multiplying breakthrough beneath the surface of your life. Every time you choose faith over fear, heaven takes notice. Every time you worship while you wait, the atmosphere shifts. Every time you speak hope into the silence, the foundation beneath you deepens. There is a reason the breakthrough hasn't come yet. Not because you're forgotten, but because God is still laying the groundwork to make sure that when it does arrive, it stays. And your endurance is part of that foundation. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come when you want it because if it came too early, you wouldn't yet be able to hold it. But every act of endurance stretches your capacity. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry wealth without it corrupting you. Who can walk in visibility without being driven by ego. Who can influence others without forgetting the one who sent you. And here's where this gets even deeper: real faith, the kind that touches the heart of God, is not proven when the light is shining, when the bills are paid, when the doors are opening. It is proven in the silence, in the waiting, in the uncertainty. The furnace of affliction doesn't burn away your faith, it reveals its purity. It shows whether your faith was built on emotion or on conviction. And what God is building in you right now is conviction, immovable, unshakable, tested and true. You may be thinking, but I don't feel strong. I'm tired. I've questioned everything. Let me tell you, that's not failure. That's humanity. And even in your questioning, you are enduring. Even in your weariness, you are still here. And that is your victory. There's an old proverb that says, the one who walks slowly still arrives. And for the chosen one, the same is true. Your pace does not disqualify you, your persistence does the qualifying. It's not how fast you move that determines your readiness. It's the fact that you didn't stop moving. The tunnel may be long. The light may seem far. But if you keep walking, you will reach it. Because delay is not denial, and endurance is the proof of your readiness. You may have nothing to show right now, no wealth, no recognition, no signs of victory. But hear me, heaven sees it all. Your tears, your prayers, your efforts, your silence. And every time you keep going, it's as if God leans forward, smiles, and says, that's my child. They're ready. And the day will come, sooner than you know, when what you built in private endurance will explode into public testimony. When those who counted you out will stand amazed. When the people who questioned your worth will watch God lift you high, not because you demanded it, but because you endured for it. Do not despise the days of resistance. They are building your resilience. Do not curse the season of delay. It is cultivating your depth. Do not abandon the process. It is unlocking your promise. So what do you do when you're exhausted? You rest, but you don't quit. What do you do when the answers don't come? You listen deeper, not louder. What do you do when the vision feels distant? You remind yourself of the one who gave it. You put one foot in front of the other, and you say with every breath, I trust you, Lord. Even here. Even now. Because the journey of the chosen is not measured by comfort, it's measured by consistency. And God is not watching how you perform, He is watching how you persevere. Let this be your declaration today, I will not give up. I will not let go. I will stand firm. And I will finish this season stronger than I started. Because resilience is the signal that you are trustworthy. Endurance is the seed that multiplies in due season. And standing firm is the final test before stepping into the wealth that has your name on it. Let that sink into your spirit. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are being fortified. Every delay is training. Every no is redirection. Every closed door is protection. And every step forward, no matter how shaky, is a step closer to your millionaire breakthrough. God is watching. Heaven is aligning. And as long as you keep moving, you cannot lose. Faith is not merely a feeling you experience during worship, nor is it a fleeting emotion sparked by a motivational message. Faith, for the chosen one, must become a way of life. It must be the rhythm of your breathing, the direction of your steps, the filter through which you see your present struggles and future destiny. As it is written in the message that brought us here today, faith is not just a belief, it is a way of being. This is the moment in your journey when everything begins to align, not because your environment has changed, but because you have. You are not being asked to simply hold on until God moves. You are being asked to move in alignment with what you believe God has already promised. Faith is not passive. It is not standing still with folded arms, waiting for the skies to open. It is leaning forward, walking when you can't yet see the road, acting as though heaven has already delivered what your eyes have yet to witness. And this, dear chosen one, is the most sacred invitation you will ever receive. To believe when there's no evidence. To act when there's no confirmation. To declare abundance while you are still surrounded by lack. To call yourself healed while the symptoms still linger. To step into your calling while the doors are still shut. This is not madness. This is not denial. This is faith, and it is the very substance God uses to build your breakthrough. The scriptures remind us in Hebrews 11 verse 1 that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Which means that when you operate in faith, you are walking in the proof of what God has already done in the spiritual realm, even if it hasn't yet manifested in the physical. Faith is the language of heaven. And when you speak it fluently, not just with your lips, but with your life, you synchronize yourself with the divine timeline. But let us be clear, faith is not easy. If it were, everyone would walk in it. True faith is forged in fire. It is developed in the furnace of adversity, in the silence of unanswered prayers, in the fatigue of long seasons of waiting. You know what kind of faith makes heaven move? The kind that gets up after falling 100 times. The kind that worships even while weeping. The kind that tithes when the bank account says, not yet. The kind that refuses to let go of God's promise, even when everything in your life seems to contradict it. And this is exactly where you are. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And faith is the chisel God is using to carve out the version of you that is capable of holding millionaire wealth without being destroyed by it. That's why your faith is under pressure. Because God knows that before He can trust you with treasure, he must test you in trust. You may ask, how do I walk in faith when I feel weak? The answer is simple, though not always easy. You choose. You choose to speak life when death is knocking. You choose to give thanks when there's nothing to be thankful for. You choose to sow seeds when the ground looks dry. Faith is not about how you feel. It's about what you choose to do despite how you feel. It is written, faith without works is dead. That means believing is not enough. There must be movement behind the belief. Some of you have been praying for doors to open but haven't stood up to walk through them. You've been asking for provision but haven't positioned yourself to receive. Let me lovingly challenge you, what are you doing that proves to heaven that you're serious about what you say you believe? To live by faith is to live in anticipation. It is to behave today as if the miracle has already occurred. It is to dress for the promotion. To prepare the room for the baby. To write the vision down as if the funding is already wired. This kind of faith does not wait for proof. It is the proof. And now we must address something critical, fear. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a spiritual blockade. It is the antithesis of faith. Where fear is present, faith cannot thrive. That's why your enemy tries to whisper doubt in the dark. He wants you to second-guess God's goodness, to question the timing, to withdraw just before the breakthrough arrives. But when you resist fear with action rooted in faith, you break the power of delay. You cancel the grip of hesitation. You show both heaven and hell that you are not the same person who once shrank back. You are stepping forward. You are stepping up. And heaven takes notice. Faith is the magnetic field that pulls heaven's reality into your now. When you move in faith, you become a channel through which God can manifest His abundance. You become a carrier of what the world needs. You become a demonstration of what obedience looks like under pressure. So I ask you, where is God calling you to act in faith today? What decision are you postponing until circumstances improve? What vision have you shelved because fear disguised itself as wisdom? What relationship, what ministry, what investment have you withheld from simply because you are waiting for a guarantee? Let me tell you, the only guarantee you need is that God is faithful. He has never failed. And He won't start with you. Faith is your way forward. It is not enough to sit and hope. You must declare and move. The kingdom responds to action born of belief. And yes, it may look foolish at first. Noah built an ark with no sign of rain. Abraham walked up a mountain without knowing how God would provide the sacrifice. Peter stepped out of the boat before the waves stilled. And you are called to do the same. To step. To trust. To walk. Even when the ground feels shaky. This is how you activate divine wealth. Not just financial blessing, but wealth of wisdom, of peace, of legacy. When you live by faith, you unlock provision that was already written into your story, but had been waiting for your obedience to release it. So today, I ask you not to simply hear this message. I ask you to live it. Wake up tomorrow and behave like someone God has already blessed. Speak like someone who has already received the promise. Plan like someone who knows the breakthrough is coming. Give like someone who knows they're backed by heaven's vault. Pray like someone who understands that God already said yes. This is the posture of faith. This is the alignment that opens doors no man can shut. And let me remind you of this, God doesn't respond to desperation. He responds to expectation. So don't just cry out, rise up. Don't just wish, walk. Don't just long, live. Faith is not a waiting room. It is a war room. And every step you take in faith is a strike against fear. A push against delay. A shout into the heavens that says, I trust you, Lord, not because I see, but because I believe. Now take that belief and let it move your feet. Because the key to your millionaire breakthrough is not locked away. It's already in your hand. It's your faith. Use it. When the storms of life rise up and the logic you once trusted seems to falter, there remains within you a quiet guide, a divine compass that does not shout, but gently nudges. That compass is your intuition. For the chosen ones, intuition is not simply a hunch or a fleeting feeling, it is the sacred frequency through which the voice of God whispers. It is not a voice that will argue with your mind, nor will it demand your attention in the way chaos does. It speaks in knowing. It lives beneath the noise. And it will never lead you astray. You see, when God tests the chosen, He does not only challenge their faith, He activates their spiritual guidance system. The world may encourage you to chase clarity through calculations, through strategies, through external confirmations. But the chosen understand that clarity is not always birthed from intellect. In the wilderness, where visibility is limited and answers are scarce, God teaches His people to walk not by sight, but by inner direction. He teaches them to trust what they sense deeply before it ever becomes visible. Your intuition, dear listener, is one of the holiest tools God has given you for your journey. It is the divine signal embedded within your soul, your inner GPS, already wired to recognize God's path, even when your mind struggles to comprehend it. That's why, in seasons of testing, you may feel as though your plans no longer work, your vision is blurred, or your sense of control is slipping. That is not failure. That is sacred disruption. Because where logic ends, revelation begins. And intuition is often the language revelation speaks. There will be moments when what you feel in your spirit contradicts everything the world tells you. You may feel called to leave what is familiar, to say yes when everyone else says no, or to wait when others are rushing ahead. In those moments, it is your intuition that will anchor you in the will of God. It is your inner knowing that will say, this doesn't make sense, but it feels holy. It feels aligned. That feeling is not accidental. It is the divine speaking directly to your destiny. But to hear this sacred voice clearly, you must first learn to quiet your surroundings. The noise of the world, its opinions, distractions, and constant urgency, will try to drown out the whispers of heaven. You will not hear God in chaos. You will not discern your next step through the volume of other voices. To walk with divine intuition is to create intentional stillness. It means seeking silence not as an escape, but as a sanctuary. In prayer, in meditation, in walks through nature, or even in journaling, you are cultivating the silence where God can speak. It is in these moments of intentional solitude that your spirit becomes sensitive. It is here that you begin to distinguish between the noise of fear and the voice of God. And the more you return to these still spaces, the more natural it becomes to trust your intuition as sacred guidance. And yes, trusting your intuition will take courage. Because it often requires walking alone. It may lead you away from what's popular, away from the crowd, and away from conventional wisdom. But remember, your calling is not common. Your breakthrough is not average. Therefore, the path that leads there will not look ordinary. Trusting your intuition is not rebellion, it is obedience to a higher rhythm. And every time you follow that rhythm, you are walking in sync with the divine plan for your life. You are not being called to follow a blueprint designed for someone else. You are being called to follow the blueprint embedded in your soul. And only your intuition, breathed into existence by the Holy Spirit, knows how to lead you there. That is why Scripture tells us the Spirit will lead us into all truth. The Holy Spirit is not bound by facts. It is not limited by human data. It knows what God is doing behind the curtain, and it is committed to guiding you safely through every trial. So I ask you, what is your intuition telling you in this season? Is it asking you to let go of something that looks good, but no longer feels aligned? Is it nudging you to take a risk, even when others advise caution? Is it urging you to rest when the world says hustle, or to speak up when your fear says be silent? These promptings are not coincidences. They are divine appointments. But let me remind you, intuition is not impulsiveness. It is not the same as emotional reaction. Emotions often rise quickly and fade fast. Intuition is steady. It is quiet, but persistent. It returns to you in prayer. It follows you in stillness. It carries peace even when it challenges your comfort. The more you listen, the more you will learn to distinguish between the voice of fear, the noise of ego, and the whisper of God. And with each act of obedience to your intuition, your spiritual discernment sharpens. You begin to recognize when God is shifting you. You learn to sense when an opportunity is divine and when it is simply a distraction. You no longer chase validation, because you are anchored in your inner confirmation. And that, dear chosen one, is freedom. Intuition is the anointing of direction. It doesn't always reveal the destination, but it will always give you the next step. It is not your job to figure everything out. It is your responsibility to trust the one who sees it all. When you walk by intuition, you declare with every step, Lord, I trust you more than I trust my understanding. I will go where you lead, even if I don't yet know why. This is how breakthroughs are born. Not through striving, but through surrender. Not by chasing, but by aligning. When you trust the God within you more than the logic around you, you open the gates of supernatural clarity and provision. Let this truth settle into your spirit: your intuition is not your weakness. It is your inheritance. It is the evidence that you are walking with God, and that God is walking with you. Every decision made from this place will not only guide you but protect you. Every time you say yes to what aligns with your soul, you are saying yes to the next chapter God has already prepared. So do not be afraid to go where logic trembles. Do not apologize for hearing what others cannot yet perceive. You were not designed to be led by noise, you were created to be led by truth. And that truth lives in you, burning quietly like a lamp in the dark. Let your intuition be your companion. Let it be your counselor. Let it be your daily reminder that you are never without guidance. The shepherd is near, and he speaks in ways the world may never understand. And as you walk this road, sometimes uncertain, often quiet, remember that the path of the chosen is not illuminated by applause or approval. It is illuminated by peace. The kind of peace that passes understanding. The kind of peace that tells you, this is the way. Walk in it. Now walk, chosen one. Not because you've seen it all, but because you've sensed what matters most. The voice of God lives in you. Trust it. Follow it. And it will not fail you. There are moments in life when everything seems to slow down. Prayers echo without answers, doors remain closed, and silence fills the spaces where miracles used to arrive swiftly. You start to wonder, has God forgotten me? Am I falling behind? But I am here to remind you of one sacred truth that every chosen one must learn on their path to breakthrough: delay is not denial. Delay is divine design. And in this season, though it may appear still on the surface, something holy is unfolding beneath your feet. You see, divine timing is not governed by human clocks. The Creator does not rush to meet deadlines set by your impatience. He moves according to eternal rhythms, aligning each moment with purpose, each event with preparation. While the world runs after instant gratification, the kingdom teaches us something deeper: the greatest miracles take time to form. Just as a seed must root itself in the dark soil before it ever breaks through the ground, so must your spirit be anchored deeply before your abundance rises. When you find yourself waiting for the breakthrough, the healing, the provision, the confirmation, know that the waiting itself is not empty. It is sacred. It is sacred because it is not passive. In the kingdom, waiting is never idle. It is a season of internal construction, where God prepares you not just for what you're praying for, but for what you don't yet know you'll need to sustain it. Just as God did not lead Joseph from prison to palace overnight, He is not rushing your process. He is ensuring that when the blessing arrives, it will not crush you, it will crown you. Many of you are in what feels like a holding pattern. You've prayed, fasted, obeyed, and still, nothing seems to move. But beloved, what feels like a setback is often a setup for something greater. The silence is not abandonment. It is calibration. It is the Holy Spirit fine-tuning your faith, clearing out distractions, deepening your trust. You are not being withheld from. You are being held together. Because the magnitude of the blessing God has for you requires a foundation stronger than your old habits, deeper than your former understanding, and wider than your past imagination. The divine delay is, in fact, divine alignment. If it came too soon, it would meet a version of you not yet ready to steward it. But every day you remain faithful, you grow into the person who can handle the weight of glory that is coming. This is why Scripture tells us that patience is not merely the art of waiting. It is the posture of trust. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about trusting that the divine knows what is best for you. Let this sink into your soul. God is not late. He is not early. He is always, unfailingly, on time. And His timing is never random, it is always redemptive. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in the womb of transformation, where your character is being shaped to match the size of your calling. And while you wait, you are not powerless. Waiting does not mean sitting in a corner with your arms folded. No, waiting in the Spirit means working with faith. It means preparing your house, your mind, your finances, your soul, as if the blessing was already on the way. Because in truth, it is. Waiting with faith is planting the seeds of your destiny in advance. It is speaking the language of arrival before arrival shows up. This is what we call active waiting, not a resignation to silence, but a participation in divine unfolding. Perhaps you are waiting for a financial breakthrough. Then ask yourself, am I already managing my current resources with the discipline of someone wealthy? Perhaps you are waiting for a door of opportunity. Then ask, am I preparing myself to walk through it with wisdom and excellence? The wait is not a punishment, it is your preparation. It is God's love in disguise. Sometimes, the delay also serves to protect you. If you had received what you asked for when you first prayed, it may have corrupted your humility or derailed your devotion. God withholds not to hurt you, but to mature you. The blessings you seek are weighty, and heaven does not drop weight on weak shoulders. So every day of waiting is strengthening your spiritual spine. And here lies one of the deepest lessons in divine timing: you don't have to understand it to trust it. Let that truth free you. Because some of the most powerful moves of God happen in mystery. They unfold quietly, like yeast working its way through dough. Invisible, yet unstoppable. If you insist on understanding everything before you believe, you'll miss the beauty of the unseen. But when you lean into mystery with childlike faith, you invite heaven's wonders to bloom in your life. Faith, in its truest form, is not about seeing to believe. It is about believing even when you don't yet see. That is why divine timing tests not just your patience but your perception. Will you choose to interpret this delay as rejection, or will you honor it as sacred preparation? That choice alone can change everything. I encourage you, chosen one, to lift your eyes beyond the calendar and into the kingdom. There is movement even when you feel stuck. There is orchestration even when you feel disoriented. Just because you don't see the puzzle pieces doesn't mean the picture is not coming together. The artist of your life never stops painting. He simply waits for the canvas to be ready. So what should you do in the meantime? You remain faithful. You speak with expectation. You move with intention. You praise before it arrives. You sow before you harvest. And most of all, you stay in alignment. Because your job is not to accelerate the clock. Your job is to align with heaven's rhythm. And when you do, the doors that are meant for you will not need to be forced. They will open at the appointed hour, without strain and without delay. And when they do, you will look back at this season of waiting not with regret, but with reverence. You will thank God not just for what He gave you, but for what He held back until you were truly ready. You will understand why He didn't answer that prayer yet, why that relationship ended, why that opportunity paused. You will see that what looked like unanswered prayer was actually uncommon grace. Beloved, you are not late. You are being perfectly positioned. What looks like silence is strategy. What feels like stagnation is spiritual momentum. You are approaching a divine intersection, and the light will turn green exactly when your heart, mind, and spirit are all aligned to receive what's on the other side. So breathe. Trust. And do not confuse pause with punishment. Do not confuse silence with absence. God is near. God is working. And when the time is right, He will make it happen. Not sooner. Not later. But in perfect, holy time. You are in the waiting room of heaven. But this is not a passive place. It is a sacred forge. You are being prepared for more than you asked. And when you emerge, you will not only walk into your millionaire breakthrough, you will walk into it with the strength, wisdom, and maturity to sustain it. This is divine timing. And it is unfolding beautifully in your life. Let peace fill your soul. Let gratitude guide your heart. Let hope be the lens through which you view every moment. You are not running out of time. You are running into destiny. And the clock of heaven is perfectly on schedule. You're in the final stretch of the test. Not the beginning. Not the middle. But the last, crucial mile before your inheritance is released. And this moment, right here, right now, is not random. It is sacred. It is the closing act of a divine training program designed to strip away what no longer serves you and to ready you for a level of wealth, impact, and freedom that you have never seen before. You are standing at the threshold, chosen one. One final step of obedience, one final declaration of faith, and everything shifts. There is something sacred about the final phase of a trial. It is the part where the pressure seems to increase, the silence of heaven feels louder, and the temptation to quit becomes almost overwhelming. And yet, it is precisely here, at this pressure point, where destinies are decided. Because the enemy isn't attacking you harder just to wear you down. He's pressing harder because he knows what's about to be released if you don't give up. The enemy has read the signs of heaven over your life, and he knows you are dangerously close to walking into everything God promised. You've been through the fire. You've endured the stripping. You've survived the pruning. And now the question is simple: will you let the process finish its work? Will you trust God not only in the preparation but in the final proving ground? Because this isn't punishment. This is proof. Proof that you were never abandoned. Proof that the hand of heaven has been guiding you all along. Proof that the pain had purpose. And now, standing here, bruised but not broken, weary but still worshiping, you are stronger than you've ever been. More ready than you've ever realized. And closer than you've ever imagined. The trial you're facing isn't evidence of distance from God. It's the mark of someone who has been selected for something sacred. This is not just suffering, it is sacred transition. The old is passing away, and what is being born through you will shake atmospheres and bless generations. Let the process do its work. Don't interrupt it with fear. Don't abort it with doubt. Just let it complete the transformation heaven began. Because when the last flicker of resistance is gone, when your soul finally says, yes, without conditions, the floodgates will open. Hear this, your millionaire breakthrough isn't coming someday in the distant future. It is waiting just on the other side of this test. This isn't theory. This isn't wishful thinking. This is prophetic alignment. You've done the hard work. You've wrestled in the dark. You've kept walking when others stopped. And now the question is not if the breakthrough will come. It is, will you stay faithful long enough to receive it? The truth is, you're not being denied. You're being finalized. Heaven has been shaping you into someone who can not only receive abundance, but sustain it. Because what's coming to you is not just about money. It's about mission. It's about mantle. It's about movement. This is about stepping into a level of authority and stewardship that only the refined can carry. So don't mislabel this season as rejection. Call it what it is, final preparation. Don't say God is silent. Say God is stretching. Don't say nothing's happening. Say everything's aligning. Because what you say right now carries prophetic weight. And here's what I urge you to do, not for me, but for your own declaration of faith. Drop a comment saying, "I'm ready to pass the test." Not because comments matter to algorithms, but because your word sends signals. To your soul. To the spirit. To the heavens. It is a line in the sand, a statement of alignment, a spiritual contract you make with God and with yourself. A way of saying, I will not sabotage what's coming by quitting too early. I'm going to finish this test. And I will walk into my promise. I also invite you, as you feel the resonance of this word, to take a moment to bless this space. Like the video, not because we chase numbers, but because we believe in sowing where we've been fed. Subscribe to this channel if the Spirit leads you, so that this digital sanctuary can reach more chosen ones who feel lost in the wilderness. Share it with someone whose soul is weary. You never know what one divine message can activate in the heart of someone who is hanging by a thread. Now lift your eyes again. Because you're not walking away from your promise, you're walking toward it. You are not in spiritual delay. You are in divine acceleration disguised as silence. And the moment you accept that this test is not your end, but your turning point, you shift the atmosphere around your life. This isn't your end. It's your transition. From drought to downpour. From wandering to wonder. From waiting to walking in fullness. And what's waiting for you is more than wealth, it is the unveiling of your full divine assignment. The anointing that was prophesied over you before you were even born. The favor that doesn't make sense on paper, but makes miracles happen in real time. You will be the one who rises. Not because you never fell, but because you got up every time. You will be the one who walks into rooms no one believed you could enter. Who sits at tables you were never invited to. Who owns what others tried to withhold. Because when heaven endorses you, no man can restrict you. And this test, this final stretch, is heaven's stamp that you are ready. Chosen one, your breakthrough is not far. It is imminent. And your obedience in this final stretch is the key that turns the lock. So take a deep breath. Wipe the sweat off your brow. Square your shoulders. And walk. Walk like someone who's already received the promise. Speak like someone who has already seen the vision fulfilled. Live like someone who carries heaven's blueprints. And declare with holy boldness, I'm not giving up now. I'm passing this test. I'm crossing this threshold. And I'm walking into everything God said I would have. Let every resistance that tried to stop you become the fuel that drives you. Let every no you receive turn into a greater yes from God. Let every loss remind you that the blessing will be sweeter because of what it cost you. You didn't come this far to walk away. You didn't survive all that fire to settle for embers. You didn't pray all those prayers for God to leave you empty. No, He's bringing you into overflow. But He needs your partnership. He needs your faith. He needs your yes. So say it. Not with hesitation. Not with fear. But with full assurance. I'm ready to pass the test. And when you do, get ready. Because your life is about to change in ways you can't even imagine. Stay faithful. Stay aligned. Stay bold. Because the reward is closer than it's ever been. And you were born to receive it.